belongs here.
I got the keys to the city.
This is Vicinity FM 95.3.
Enjoy.
Success is to wake up each day and be excited about the week ahead. It's already Thursday right here, and everywhere. I want to believe so. It's a beautiful morning and glad to be here again. Grateful for the dawn of a new day. It's newspaper review where we bring you all of the trending stories on our dailies. Oluwafunke Israel saying a beautiful morning to you.
Yeah, it's a beautiful morning here in Ikejile, and the sun is new each day. So try to embark on your journey for the day. Try to set goals, and I hope that God Almighty make it easy for you. You are welcome to this paper review on Vicinity 95.3 FM. I am Aisha Ibrahim.
Yeah, do well to join the conversation this morning. We all live on Facebook and YouTube at Vicinity 95.3 FM. Well, the papers before me today, they all look the same. Still talks on 2027 election, PDP, APC, ADC on the front page of Nigerian Tribune. The same Punch still have the big story on 2027 election. The Guardian also, anxiety about PDP. We have all of the faces of our political leaders plastered on the front page of The Guardian. You come to the Daily Independent, still on 2027 election. That's why I said, the papers before me this morning, they all are telling, look the same, because we're still on this 2027 discussion talks, and people running here and there, political leaders, stakeholders, seeking, to hide their head somewhere where it's safe, and we don't even know where is safe anymore. Well, it's up to them anyways if they are the ones to tell us, because the more we talk about these things, the more it's like we're not even figuring exactly what's happening with these political parties. Well, just to prepare your mind that you will be hearing more on 2027 election this morning, fingers crossed.
Yeah, this morning, same thing on the newspaper that are in front of me this morning. Vanguard, The Nation, The Daily Trust is all about this election, ADC, ADA, APC, PDP, 2027 election. And so before me this morning on the Vanguard newspaper, I have 2027, Atiku, Obi, Amechi, El-Rufai, others take over ADC. The emergence of coalition has made APC stronger. Senate to CBN, your policies have improved economy. Review 2025 budgets, IMF tells federal government. Hunger, inflation, fueling insecurity, Methodist prelate tells Tinubu. Why I resign from APC, Amechi adds Nigeria is destroyed. PDP warns defectors. I support condition but will remain in PDP, that's said by Lamido. Adeleke not joining coalition, Osun PDP chief. And that's all on the Vanguard newspaper for this morning.
Yeah, now come to Daily Independent 2027 election. Move to unseat Tinubu. Reps help as coalition tweaks strategies, and there is our number of riders there. Adopt ADC, party course, resign, mark, Egbegbesholali party. Mission is to rescue, rebuild Nigeria, save democracy, mark. Laments Tinubu's government hijack all democratic institutions. Says country on a descent into total civilian dictatorship. Coalition is for Nigerians suffering insecurity, economic hardship. Now no community will be relegated to the shadows. Tinubu reps adopt tit for tat against Senate over bills concurrence. IMF sees Nigeria's 2025 GDP growth at 3.4% on oil refining boost orders. FG welcomes IMF endorsement. Malami resigns from APC, joins ADC, says Tinubu's government prioritizing politics over safety of citizens. Nigerians will decide 2027 poll, not APC maneuvers. Niger flood, 600 missing victims now presumed dead. Reps, PDP, other parties should partner with coalition. Tanko. The top story is on Daily Independent.
Yeah, the top story is on Daily Trust for this morning. 2027 coalition adopts ADC. PDP threatens to sanction members promoting group. Ex-students sentenced to death by hanging for killing teacher. Experts disagree with IMF over 3.4% GDP growth forecast. Man arrested after sneaking into bank to hack systems. Missing Mokwa flood victims presumed dead, said by lawmaker. 6 killed, many injured as bandits, vigilantes clash in Kwara. In reprisal, gunmen kill 15 persons in Sokoto. And that's the top stories on Daily Trust newspaper this morning.
Now to The Guardian. Anxiety over PDP's future, say the sea excites aggrieved politicians. Mokwa flood, lawmakers warn of disease outbreak in Niger. FG raises concern over 75% desertification in northern state. PDP threatens sanctions on members demarketing party. OT delegation coalition. APC as Okechukwu warns Nigerians of political hawks. National Assembly faces gridlock as reps halt consideration of Senate bills.
Now on the Nation newspaper for this morning, Mark Aragbeshola take over ADC sparks chairman's anger. Nigeria, UN Capital Development Fund to sign interest-free loan pact. Nwosu can't surrender party. Atiku, Obi, Amechi, others. Ex-presidential candidates Kachuku disown Atiku, other opposition forces. Oti distances himself from anti-Tinubu alliance. Defectors will rush back to PDP, says Damagum. Wike, they are expired politicians. A hostile takeover of ADC. Ogbogi killing, Anambra, Ebonyi. Government wants perpetrators brought to justice. And that's all on the Nation newspaper this morning.
Now to The Punch. Nigeria must revive 2025 budget to avert crisis. IMF wants 2027 elections. Atiku B. Mark launch ADC to unseat Tinubu over 20 ex-governors. PDP bigwigs, Buhari's ministers join coalition. ADC faction rejects takeover. Man marketers rally for refineries privatization as $3 billion repair falter. U.S. jails France-based Nigerian 41 months for $8 million fraud. Rep seeks emergency relief for Niger Kwara flood victims.
Now to the details of the stories. On the Nation newspaper, Wike Keyamo Buala knock coalition ADC. Federal Capital Territory FCT Minister Isom Wike described the defectors to ADC as expired politicians. The minister said those politicians have refused to see anything good in the current administration. He said this during the inauguration of a project executed by the Tinubu administration in Abuja yesterday.
And now to the Punch 2027 election. Atiku B. Mac launch ADC to own seat. Tinubu, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, former Senate President David Mark, and other coalition leaders have officially adopted the African Democratic Congress as the platform to spearhead President Bola Tinubu's defeat in the 2027 election. During the unveiling held on Wednesday at the Yaradua Center in Abuja, Mark and ex-Osun State Governor Rauf Aregbesola were announced as the interim national chairman and secretary of the ADC. Meanwhile, ADC 2023 presidential candidates Dumebi Kashiku and others, members of the party's old bloc, criticized Atiku and others, accusing them of hijacking the party and claiming they lack the capacity to lead.
Still on the Nation newspaper this morning, Nigerian professionals for Caribbean. President meets Nigerian community in St. Lucia and said the stage is set for the deployment of skilled Nigerian professionals to the Caribbean and other member states of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States (OECS). This followed the signing of a technical manpower assistance (TMA) agreement between Nigeria and St. Lucia. So he said the move marks a major stride in South-South cooperation, and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu renewed foreign policy trust aimed at strengthening ties with Africans in the diaspora.
And now to the story on the Punch. Nigerian must review 2025 budget to avert crisis, IMF warns. Nigeria's fiscal outlook for 2025 is under serious threat, according to the International Monetary Fund, which has warned that the country must urgently revise its budget targets or face a deepening financial crisis. The IMF's latest article for consultation reports released on Wednesday points to a significant risk of Nigeria's exceeding its fiscal deficit projections for the 2025, driven by a combination of falling oil prices, lower production levels, and challenges in capacity expenditure. Now you understand this. Even the president has called for people who own oil assets in the country, to level up and double their production or not abandon, their oil assets, because they're trying to see that barrels we produce is over 2.1 million. But now we're even short of that. And now IMF again has come to say we must rise up on, working on our 2025 budget. Don't forget, we're still yet to be done with the 2024, which has been extended until the end of this year, running concurrently with the 2025. This calls for concerns. We'll be right back. beautiful morning to you, Sir Omoni Olalekan Ogundeji. Thank you for joining us on Newspaper Review this beautiful morning.
Good morning to you, Father.
Good
Yes,
morning.
Good morning
Good morning.
to you. Yeah, on Newspaper Review this morning, I will just take this story on strike by FCT workers. This includes, primary school teachers for over 90 days now. They have been on strike, and this means that primary school pupils are also sitting at home. Well, yesterday FCT workers issued fresh ultimatum, and the Federal Capital Territory Administrator, we would know the minister, Nyesom Wike, said he will be meeting with the workers and other stakeholders today. How do you feel about this? For 90 days, and we've seen them protest, cry. Going on a strike is something that should send a message to the government. And at this point, do we have to wait for 90 days to, intervene on this matter? And when we are even working on, reducing the out-of-school children in the country. Reducing the number of out-of-school children in the country. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. It's quite well unpleasant that workers in Nigeria are not treated as supposed. Because if it is not the maltreatment of the teachers, they only have embarked on the strike. And of course, the prolonged or protracted strike, which resulted to the protest, is not supposed to have, happened if the concerned parties have come to lay their heads together and sort out what is the acrimony between the two. I mean the government,
and the workers.
The sole administrator of FCT and the workers. And it seems that it has become the culture in this very country that the employer neglects the employee. And of course, it's quite well unfortunate that it happens. Even go by the word of God, it states that the sweat of the laborer should not dry before he or she or they receive their entitlements. So, my take about that is that the government at all levels, not only in the FCT, but in Nigeria in general, or at large, should ensure that they prioritize, the welfare of the workers, so that everything will go on smoothly. Apart from that very one, there is one organization they refer to as the federal workers. They also try to make demonstration, probably the radio or media at large, radio, television, and others, do not pick that one. Similar protest happened in Abuja. It is over the entitlement too. So that is why I wish that it is well generalized that, this thing is common. It has become the culture of our leaders to try to, make Nigerian workers suffer. Of course, it's very bad. And just to pinpoint it to the teachers in FCT, I want to tell you, and you must note this, that if teachers are not well cared for, they won't they will not dish out their best. They will never. Let alone that they were pushed to the wall, and that was what had caused the strike. And this one will still affect the life of the students. And these pupils, you know, they are going to become the leaders of the tomorrow, leaders of tomorrow. Many of them, like you have right said, will drop out from the school. Okay? It means that the government has affected the teachers to affect the life. That is how it has come in the descending order. You know, from the government, from government to the teacher, from teacher to the student, or pupils, and from pupils to the society. Because the pupil who is not giving sound education will definitely constitute the nuisance in the communities to which we live. So there are a lot of damages that the government is causing in our society as a result of their negligence to the welfare of the workers or employers. So I want to make use of this very medium to beg the government to beseech them at all levels that they have to ensure that they prioritize the welfare of the workers. Thank you.
Yeah. Now I move to the Guardian newspaper. Well, all over our dailies today, the talks on 2027 election is even getting hotter. Now on the Guardian, anxiety over PDP's future as ADC excites aggrieved politicians. Now we know that some of our aggrieved politicians from other party APC, like the likes of El Rufai, he moved from the APC to ADC. Finally, they now found a platform, ADC, to form a coalition. And we know Rauf Aregbesola and also Senator David Mark, who has been in the People's Democratic Party for almost 3 decades. He has finally, issued a resignation and moving to the ADC. Now, these are aggrieved politicians from other, parties, and they've moved to the ADC. Now, some factions of the ADC are saying they are not even, it's just like them taking over. You met some groups here. People have been, in this party overseeing their affairs. And now you have just come and taken over, making former Senate President David Mark the chairman, and Rauf Aregbesola, the former Osun State governor, the interim national secretary, saying, is this what we want to have? Is this the coalition we're talking about that are already, taking over seats that they were not issued? They're saying it's not constitutional, and it's not, in the guidelines of the party. There should be a convention or a NEC meeting that would officially, choose the national chair or the national secretary, but now they have just forced these people on them. How do you think? Do you think this coalition will survive, the test of time, or it's just mirroring other issues in the party? Because coalition is supposed to be a new party, void of trouble, crisis, because they say they are coming together to fight corruption. And maybe eventually they might unseat, President Bola Tinubu in 2027 election.
Oh, thank you very much. It has, that you just said, as making politics in Nigeria has to be more interesting anyway. So I will not say we'll make it tough or tougher, but I would rather say we'll make it much more interesting. Well, coalition, by the meaning I can give to it is temporary organization anyway. That is what I mean, the denotative meaning to the word coalition. And of course, if you have examined the political landscape in Nigeria, it seems as it's going towards the soul of one political party. And I want to tell you that we need it at every point in time in Nigeria in order to introduce check and balance among all our leaders of political behaviors we have. Let me remind us of what resulted in APC today. So this is also the movement that some power that be had that very time to come to the logical conclusion that APC will be established. According to a lot of news that we have been reading, it seems as ADC, that is African Democratic Congress, they have started to cook it 18 months ago. They had had series of meetings outside the country, in London, in Ghana, and some other places around the world. And you know, the paper I read yesterday anyway had informed that interim leadership of the coalition was constituted, I thought yesterday, right? So it was constituted, and that was where David Mark, you know, the former chairman of coalition, or I can refer to it as the leader of the coalition, had stepped down for David Mark, and the Aregbesola of former governor of Osun State was made the secretary of the party. And let me tell you this, that the aggrieved politicians from different political parties, like 2023 presidential flag bearer of PDP, that's
former Vice President Atiku Abubakar.
Former Vice President of Nigeria, yes. Former Vice President of Nigeria is on the list of the coalition movement of ADC. Then we have Peter Obi. You know, Peter Obi and the former Vice President of Nigeria, the two of them ran for 2023 presidential election in Nigeria. And one became second and the other the third. You know, if the effort of the two, I mean, Peter Obi and Atiku could be synthesized, I mean combined, conglomerated, automatically there is hope that they may defeat Tinubu. Yes, they may defeat him. Now, I don't want to talk about whether they defeat him or they don't defeat him, but I want to lay my much emphasis on the reason of coming together to fight Tinubu and, you know, constitutionally receive the mantle of power from him. And which they call, according to you too, they call corruption. Is that also that they want to come and fight corruption? And let me ask you that in Nigeria, are we really fighting corruption? Is anyone really fighting corruption in Nigeria? Even President Muhammadu Buhari, let me begin from the government of Obasanjo now. The government of Obasanjo established the FCC. Is that also?
True.
What is the goal The goal is to fight against the corruption in Nigeria. Is that not so? Now, after Obasanjo, so many presidents had come to rule Nigeria. We have Yaradua, we have Gulu Jonathan. Then, before we come to the government of Buhari, even Buhari laid more emphasis on fighting of corruption, and the reason people queued behind him to vote for him that time. At the end of the day, where there are no features, the symbols, the instances of corruption that we can deduce from his government, are people not were not corrupt, were not, even make the society more corruptible than it was supposed. Okay, now the government of our father Baba Tinubu, is there no corruption too? Even where we started, we talk about the strike by teachers in FCT, and we still talk about the protest of the group of federal government workers in Abuja, the same Abuja. Is it not as a result of the corruption? If not as a result of corruption, is there no money to pay to settle the entitlement of the workers? Now, these people say they are coming. Governor Aregbesola had ruled in Osun State. He paid half salary. Well, you know how we are? Part of this salary, they refers to it as a modulated salary, where workers above level 7, I mean from level 8 to the apex, were received the half salary, and they refers to it as half salary that very time. Okay? And this man too is coming to preach the gospel of fighting against corruption. What about the Heruvai? Heruvai is also there to fight against the corruption. What about Atiku himself?
Amechi.
Okay? Amechi of Rivers.
State.
When others were there, were there not hands soiled in the corruption we are talking about? Please, are they not the leader of the coalition? Let me tell you the fact. The fact is that everybody is looking for, where to get a delicious meal. Yoruba will say, "Akirikale, oema mabi obetito." So it is the delicious meal they want. And that being, the government of Tinubu gives opportunity to Aregbesola, gives opportunity to El-Rufai. Would they not support him? Would they not be part of the cabinet or the cabal in the governance of Tinubu today? It's as a result of the fact that they are not allowed. That's why they think about, making a certain coalition which will give them the opportunity to still eat deeper in the economy of Nigeria. So, I don't know if there are some other things I'm supposed to have reacted to, but I've forgotten. Can you please remind me so that I will be able to address them?
Sir, on Vanguard newspaper this morning, still on the 2027 election coalition.
Okay.
So it says our coalition into ADC will strengthen APC ahead of 2027.
Thank you very much. It's a very interesting question. Yes, the coalition will definitely stress APC. In fact, it will stress PDP as well. Because this very coalition had come to put the two parties into the problem, into trouble. Like the presidential candidate of PDP had joined the coalition. Rauf Aregbesola, the lies and El-Rufai, okay, are also there in the coalition now of ADC. Okay?
Yes.
From that very one, I'm still hearing that Ganduje had resigned.
Yeah, he has resigned.
Yes.
That is voluntary resignation. Okay? So we don't know yet what is in his mind that made him to have resigned. And don't forget that Ganduje himself, okay, is one of the leaders that led the presidential campaign of our Baba Tinubu. Is that not so? Now, automatically, the coalition will give lot of stress and problem, menace, predicament for Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to win 2027 presidential election, if at all he will win. But, with what I am seeing, it seems as the aggrieved politicians who have gone to form the coalition, and, their plan is to ensure that they unseat President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because the APC also formed the coalition to unseat the Goodluck Jonathan. That time. Is that not so? So this is another plan. It will stress APC. If at all APC will win, it will make a lot of profuse sweat. In 2027 presidential election in Nigeria.
Yeah, so I'll just go to this story before we call it today on the show. So Mokwa flood, lawmakers warn of disease outbreak in Niger. That devastating flood that happened in Mokwa, and until now, some of the internally displaced persons, are still yet unsettled, and there are concerns that they will be exposed to outbreak. Well, what do you see about this? When we talk about situations like this in Nigeria, 2024, there was a flood in Borno State, and we hear, private organizations, the government, international bodies donate to this cause. And then the government has said, before 2025, they will find, a solution to reducing, the impact of the flood to the barest minimum. But now we have issues of Mokwa flood, and internally displaced persons are saying we only get to hear about these relief materials. We get little or nothing from it.
This one also aligns to what we have been talking about since the inception of this very program. Number one, it is actually it's a coin of two sides. It faces the government, and at the same time, it faces the community. Because many a times, people, as a result of the fact that they want to plant building at, the erosion route, so they don't care, they do it, and it's part of one of the causes that resort to erosion. That is the part of the community. And that of the government is to oversee the affairs of community. If the community is doing wrong or does not do things that are right, it is the government that will at least make them to get refrained from what they do wrong. But the negligence that what will happen should happen. And now, you can never cheat nature. We can't cheat nature. So, this disaster that has occurred over there is the call of the nature, and the nature will ever have its own way, no matter what. In as much as this has happened, the government are supposed to, rise to the help of the affected community, people, and some others. And what has government done about it yet? What has government done? So is government, just watching them? But in a developed country, if such calamity or disaster
Happens.
occur that way, they have a way of addressing it. And this is what we are talking about in Nigeria. Our government, is not that well structured.
Hello.
Hello. Oh wow! I think that's network glitch right there. Till we are rejoined with Mr. Ogundeji Olalekan. A lot has been talked about. Now let's go to our Facebook page where we have comments there. Arani Yaya says good morning, a beautiful morning to you. Kbes Kamalafe says good morning, vicinity ladies. So beautiful morning. Good morning, ladies of vicinity. 95.3 FM. How is the mountain top this morning? Cool. And we're living it today as it comes. And also Sir Julius there says Abuja workers' strike can be avoided. There is no reason to shortchange Abuja teachers. Wike should look into this and pay the workers. As far as PDP is concerned, the party is on its way to its grave, courtesy of the selfishness of Nigerians politicians. So PDP members, are you sure you want to bury PDP or you want to resuscitate? You have to do all you can to do so, because as it is, your aggrieved members have moved to the ADC and other political party they think is stable at this point. Well, former Senate President as well, I think a person of Bukola Saraki also mentioned that don't worry, all of our issues are resolved and we're back, but that will tell. Time will tell if truly, that is what the case is. Time will tell. For me, it's just very disturbing, to have plenty talks around 2027 elections, because now it's like we're abandoning our primary duty as leaders of this country, especially for those who are in position of power right now. I'm not talking about politicians who are jostling for a position in 2027 who are not in active positions, but for those who have a role or want to play, focus on governance as we speak, because 2027 is still far. But at this point, the talks are so, it's becoming hotter, and you wonder what we're focusing on at this point. Well, I just hope we do better for this nation and its people, because at the end of the day, it's the people we're here to serve. And that 2027 comes or is far away or is near, that we think we're here to serve the people. And you're not giving the people, that good body language that we're here for you. It's like you're about serving your own personal interest and knowing if your political future is at stake or not, and you're trying to salvage that before 2027. We should stop painting this picture of we just going about our own and not considering the masses. You have the lives of over 200 million Nigerians in your hands, and we should do right by them. Our time is fast spent this morning, and thank you. I know we couldn't get back to hello, so just before we go, thank you for reconnecting back with us. We apologize for that network issue.
Well, thank you very much for having me back. In summary, all I'm saying is that these people affected by flood are supposed to be taken care of by the government. They have lost all they had. Their house, their other properties. Now, they cannot, in a wake of the day, regain all these things. So it means that it is the government that's supposed to, wake up and render their responsibility over them to ensure that they are good. Simple. It's as simple as that. And the issue of the disease outbreak, okay, is also the cause of that, because many of them will have the open defecation, this and others. It's because of the fact that they don't have where, the comfortable other areas to use. Automatically, they have to use what they see. And this is also the cause. So the government is likely to even spend more than it is supposed, okay, by the time there is widespread of the outbreak of disease. So I want to beseech or conclude that the government should please wake up and render its responsibility over there, and not to escalate into what we don't want, like a pandemic and others.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Awoni Olalekan Okudeji, for joining us this morning. We appreciate your contribution on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, do have yourself a great day.
Yes, bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Yeah, time is first spent. It's time for us to go. Thank you for joining us on Newspaper Review. Thank you for all of your comments on our Facebook page. Mr. Julius Adiguna and K-Best, Kongolafe and Arani. Thank you for joining us. We have to go right now. Our producer is Muchib Olakunle. You always, are of great support on this show.
Yeah.
And Molua Funke Israel. It's Thursday. Don't relax. It's still a working week. Go do what you have to do.
Yeah, it's a beautiful morning, and go out there, do what you're supposed to do, and be productive. Yeah. Thank you for joining the newspaper review for this morning. I am Aisha Ibrahim.
We are your connection to the sound that surrounds you.
Hit music.